Hello and welcome to Odds CONMEBOL Qualifiers for the World Cup Matchday 4 after the surprise of the surprises in Brazil. Leo Bachanian is with us to analyze a new match day with great games. For instance, Uruguay, Brazil. Leo, who saw coming that draw against with Brazil and Venezuela?
Hi, Edu. How are you doing? Absolutely. The draw against Brazil was the surprise of this CONMEBOL qualifier so far, that 1-1 between Venezuela and Brazil. It was an historic result for Venezuela because it was only the second time in 19 visits to Brazil that they managed to get at least a draw. The other one we mentioned in last week's show, and that was the 0-0 in Brazil in 2009 on the road to South Africa. This one in the Arena Pantanal was done in a similar fashion, I would say. Of course, at the end of the day, the margins are very small, and we can expand later once we speak about Brazil. But the Verde Amarela had enough chances to win by a comfortable margin. However, Eduardo Bello struck a beautiful bicycle kick in the 84th minute of the match. The draw was celebrated like a cup, and fair enough for Venezuela. There was actually a video on social media posted by the Venezuelan FA. I don't know if you have seen it, where you can see the team having dinner while watching the game and celebrating Bello's goal, standing and singing in their chairs. So it was quite good and funny. Venezuela is now sitting 6th in the qualifiers, having won 1, draw 1, and lost 1. More importantly than that is that the improvement under Fernando Batista, Edu, is for everyone to see already. The Vinotinto has lost only 1 of his 6 games in charge since replacing Jose Peckerman in March. Venezuela have actually won all 3 of their home games under Batista, and all of them by the same scoreline, 1-0, including against Paraguay last month in the second round of fixture.
Tell me in a bit all the data. Before that, let's finish the intro, because the first game is Venezuela-Chile. So in a bit, you tell me your tip and all the info. In the meantime, guys, remember to like the video, of course, subscribe to our channel. And now let's go on with the show. And if you wanna bet in this game, for instance, Venezuela-Chile, we have a special offer for you with 1xBet. If you register with our promo code, you can get up to 130% as a welcome bonus. Well, Leo, you are convincing the audience to back, I think, Venezuela in this game. Venezuela-Chile is the first one. Venezuela to win is 2.8. Chile to win is 2.9, so it's very balanced, this game, according to the bookies.
Yeah, and I believe so, Edu. I mean, I won't get carried away because of the 1-1 in Brazil. Was an historic result, I repeat, yes, of course. But again, if Neymar, if Rodrigo, and Vinicius, to name only 3 of the players who had like clear chances to score, were having a better finishing on the night, we are talking something completely different right now. So I won't get carried away again, as far as this was a great result for Venezuela. But again, if the Venezuela draw was historic, Chile's 2-0 against Peru was a much-needed relief for La Roja, Edu. It took them 74 minutes, yes, to open the scoreline, and that came courtesy of Diego Valdés' goal that broke the deadlock on that time, before Marcos Lopez own goal to seal the host win. This was only the 4th victory in 14 games since Eduardo Berizzo took over in June 2022. Valdés had his best performance with La Roja. This year he has stood out in a friendly against Dominican Republic, but of course it's not the same as doing it in a World Cup qualifier like this time. He was the engine of the team against Peru. The Mexico midfielder carried with responsibility of bringing the ball to Alexis Sanchez and to Ben Brereton in attack, but perhaps the most significant side of his duties was to provide leadership in midfield, where natural leaders like Arturo Vidal or Charles Aranguiz were not present. Now, Edu, going into Tuesday's game, I have to say Chile has won 2 of the last 3 times they visited Venezuela for a World Cup qualifying match. Against Colombia and Brazil, Venezuela had to defend, fair enough. And with Paraguay, they were in the front foot. With Chile, I can imagine the same, which can leave them exposed at times. And they can be, as far as they have improved a lot under Fernando Batista, they are still a little bit fragile at the back. So I will be looking for first half goals over 0.5 with odds of 1.60. And because of what you have said before, the parity in the odds, either for Venezuela's win or Chile's win, but either way, very high odds in this case. I will go for Chile to win again away in Venezuela. That comes with odds of 2.97. Yes.
Well, Chile lost the last time in the road to Qatar that they visited Venezuela, but they won in the previous 2. As you mentioned, imagine if it was a big surprise, that draw in Brazil. It was the odds were 13, Leo, for Venezuela to draw in Brazil. Let's see if they can still make more points. Right now they have 4. Very good start for Venezuela. The poorest teams so far in South America are Paraguay and Bolivia, both meeting in this match day 4. Paraguay with 0 goals scored. Still, they cannot score a goal, as you predicted. Argentina to win 2-0 was a very obvious bet, and it was a correct one. And Bolivia, Leo, we cannot talk anymore about the altitude of La Paz because the teams are going there and winning. And we know the really poor record that they have away in the World Cup qualifiers. Remember that the last victory was in the road to the World Cup in USA 94.
Absolutely, Edu. And to be honest, I don't want to be called a hero on Tuesday for turning up in front of the TV to watch Paraguay, Bolivia, but I won't mind if someone wants me to consider me as such, you know. Between them, you can only count 1 point, property of Paraguay, and 2 goals, property of Bolivia, because Albirroja, you said, failed to score in any of the opening 3 games. Bolivia sits currently 83rd in the FIFA ranking and Paraguay 52nd. And that, I believe, sums it up pretty much all. Paraguay has lost 4 of their last 6 games in all competitions. Bolivia has lost 5 of their last 6 in all competitions. With Ecuador in La Paz, with only 6 or 7 minutes remaining, Bolivia looked to have claimed a vital point when Ramallo equalized, canceling out Kendry Páez opener, but then Kevin Rodriguez struck in the 6 minutes of injury time to break Bolivia hearts ahead of this crucial tip through Asunción. For Paraguay, it's not just 1 point in 3 games already, but also 2 managers already in place, with Daniel Garnero having replaced Guillermo Barros Schelotto. They were very poor against Argentina and lucky not to have conceded 3 or 4, to be honest. This said, Paraguay had a great chance to equalize in the second half with Ramon Sosa, but he was denied by Emiliano Martinez. Now they go into this game without Junior Alonso as well in defense because he got injured in Buenos Aires. They will need a much more engaged Miguel Almirón too. I expect to see Antonio Sanabria, the Torino striker, to lead the attack instead of Adam Barreiro. Although, if Paraguay cannot think of deploying 2 center forwards against Bolivia, then against whom they could try something similar. So, for qualifiers, Edu, Paraguay have won 3 of the last 4 times they face each other, and this one should be one more of those occasions if their GPS can finally find the opposition goal for Paraguay. I can't think of another official match in which a Paraguay win pays as little as 1.29. And that, again, it tells us a lot of the story of this match, the preview of this match. I will look for a first half win for Paraguay, healthy odds of 1.79. And I know you might look at me like, are you sure, Leo? But Paraguay to score in both halves, odds of 2 on average in Oddspedia's website. Again, if they cannot do it against Bolivia, then we are talking about something pretty much serious with Paraguay.
Well, surprisingly, it pays better going for the under 2.5 goals in this game is 2.2 than for the over is 1.8. So surprisingly, after everything you've said, the bookies expect goals in Asunción. Let's see if Paraguay finally can find the net against the poorest team in South America.
Yep.
Bolivia. Next games, very good ones. These last three, Ecuador, Colombia is the first stop. I think a positive start for both sides. Ecuador, 3 points, but 2 victories because they had the 3 points penalty, as you mentioned, beating Bolivia. They came back in the game they played at home against Uruguay, having a great and very important victory against Uruguay. And for Colombia, also positive stuff, Leo, with 5 points, no defeats. But perhaps it's a bit sweet and sour, no? The last result against Uruguay because they had the victory very close.
Yes, just in the dying moments of the game, Darwin Núñez equalized from the penalty spot. And actually, Edu, that was the question after the game. Who lost 2 points, Colombia or Uruguay? And such was the question in Barranquilla under the 35 degrees and the unbearable humidity. Bielsa was all against that, of Colombia having chosen to play in the afternoon under the heat. But that's what it is. We spoke about that last show. Without an atom of doubt, to be honest, Colombia was the answer for me of who lost 2 points last round of fixture. It's true that they both had chances to score. Uruguay had them, but Colombia had at least 6 opportunities, and the 6 were very, very clear, Edu. James Rodriguez scored and hit the post once. Santiago Arias hit the post 2. Santos Borré had the blank header in front of goal and wasted it. Luis Diaz captured a rebound and was one-on-one with the keeper, but sent the ball to the sky. Mateo Uribe scored one, but also had a shot in front of goal that was out for only centimeters. There were, Edu, 29 shots on goal in Barranquilla. It was absolutely entertaining game for the neutrals. So a match that could have been maybe 3 or 4-1 for Colombia ended in a 2-2. So just because of the inefficacy in front of goal of the Cafetero. Otherwise, today's Nestor Lorenzo's team would have been with 7 points, the same as Brazil. And Colombia being blind in front of the opposition goal is not something new. Remember, Edu, that if Colombia did not qualify to Qatar, one of the main reasons I would say is that they were 7 games scoreless at some point during last on the road to Qatar. Some Colombian journalists were saying that the lack of goal is something that has historically been the handicap of the Cafeteros, that even despite Radamel Falcao's amazing career in the last 15, 20 years, there is no Colombian striker within the 100 most prolific goal scorers in football history. This Colombia of Nestor Lorenzo has something. It's an entertaining side, yes, but I think the best definition for them so far is that they're a competitive side. They are 11 games undefeated. Of course, the numbers don't tell everything, but they say something. In Colombia, nobody has given James Rodriguez a place in the starting 11 before Uruguay, but Lorenzo did. And the ex-Real Madrid was, to be honest, Edu, having maybe his best performance in a while. He was the man of the match. It was a kind of like redemptive game for James. He scored, he passed the ball, he drove the ball when needed. It's a shame he may miss the game with Ecuador because of injury. And on the other side, quite the contrary, because Ecuador did manage to win, yes, but not to convince a lot against Bolivia in La Paz. The best for the three was the Chelsea teenager, Kendry Páez. Kendry Páez is going to join Chelsea anyway in 2025. In his second game with Ecuador, he became the youngest player to score, 16 years of age only for Kendry Páez. Youngest player to score in the South American qualifier. That's what I wanted to say. If Sanchez starts him against Colombia, that would be a massive statement for the teenager. I will expect goals, Edu, here. Both teams to score, odds of 1.85. Those looking for higher odds, goals over 2.5. That comes with 2.45. And I will also be looking, why not, at a double chance for Colombia, odds of 1.84.
Indeed, because Ecuador, they are so favorites for this game, 2.12, so I think it's a good idea. Back in Colombia, somehow, after what you've said, in the next break, by the way, Colombia hosts Brazil. It's going to be in November, the next international break, the 17th of November, exactly when we are going to see Colombia, Brazil. And talking about Brazil, Leo, they have two tough games because they have to play in Uruguay. Best game in this week in international football in South America. Uruguay, Brazil, with some rumors around Brazilian players having a party before a football game. Nothing new for Brazilian players, I believe. And I was not surprised to read that Richarlison or Neymar were involved. But the reality is that they dropped points against Venezuela, and also they were very close to drop points against Peru in the only away game that they've played so far. Let's see if they are able to win in Uruguay in the road to Qatar. Brazil won here 2-0.
To be honest, Edu, I would have been surprised, or the news for me would have been to read Vinicius and Neymar spend the whole night in the room in the hotel. To read that they've been
playing cards.
To read that they've been in a party, and I think they need that to perform then on the pitch. But yes, I mean, we mentioned at the beginning that this, of course, surprise draw between Brazil and Venezuela, but they created enough chances to win, which is not the same as to say that they played a very good game. There are two different things. In the first half, Brazil looked for spaces with long possessions, but usually they ended up losing patience and resorting to shots from outside of the box. Neymar wasn't as sharp as we have seen him against Bolivia, for example, in the first round of fixture. Vinicius was alternated good and bad decisions on the ball. Richarlison was Richarlison, basically spending most of his time fighting defenders rather than making runs or creating spaces for Vini and Neymar. In the second half, when the fans were losing a bit of patience, and that was kind of like palpable by watching the game on TV, only Neymar's magic seemed to have wakened them up and bringing the stadium alive, which were standing like staying silent for long periods. After Gabriel Magalhaes anticipated his marker and scored with a header, we saw the best of Brazil. Neymar missed a sitter inside of the box. Rodrigo had a massive opportunity too. By the time Belo equalized, Brazil continued to look anyway for a winning goal, but they bought into Venezuela's tactics of delaying the play and bringing the rhythm of the match a little bit down. Nevertheless, Brazil took their CONMEBOL qualifiers unbeaten run to 37 games. Since the 8th of October 2015, when they lost to Chile, that they haven't left the field looking down. They won 28 of those 37 games and tied the remaining 9, scoring 88 goals and conceding only 16. On the other hand, you have La Celeste that has not defeated Brazil in any competition since the qualifiers for Korea and Japan 2002. That afternoon, look, the players I'm going to mention. On that afternoon in 2001, Cafu broke down Chino Recoba, and that ended in a penalty scored by Federico Magallanes. Look, that day in 2001, the last time Uruguay defeated Brazil in any competition, Fede Valverde was 2 years old, Vinicius had not yet turned 1 year old, and Neymar was in year 4 in primary school. Since then, they faced each other 12 times, 7 wins for Brazil and 5 draws. Can 22 years after that Uruguay last defeated Brazil, the Celeste dream with a win? Absolutely, yes. We saw against Chile that playing at home, this Marcelo Bielsa project in the making can play an exhilarating football. If I tell you, Edu, that Brazil back four, and listen, in Montevideo, is very likely to be this one: Jan Couto, Marquinhos, Gabriel Magalhaes, and Guilherme Arana, then I'm pretty sure you will give Uruguay a chance, at least.
Totally.
And if you want to give Uruguay not a chance, but a double chance, well, that comes with odds of 1.95. Double chance for Uruguay, 1.95. It's not bad at all. And I will also look for Uruguay first team to score in here. High odds of 2.75, but pretty much that double chance for Uruguay in this instance, and I repeat, 1.95 seems good to me, Edu.
Well, let's see what a game. By the way, after this, Uruguay are playing in Argentina in the Derby de la Plata game. So they have two tough games for Professor Bielsa, first against Brazil and then against Argentina. Argentina playing away in Peru. I've read that Argentina is the only team that haven't conceded a goal in 2023. Of course, they haven't conceded in the qualifiers for the World Cup. I was checking, and of course, the last goal conceded was against France in the final of the World Cup. Leo, Peru suffering in the post-Gareca era. No goals scored yet in this road to the World Cup to USA, Mexico, and Canada.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we said it, Edu. Argentina to win 2-0 before Paraguay was looking like the safe bet at some point. And Dibu Martinez, another 90 minutes without, undefeated. He has accumulated now 622 minutes, and he has now the record for Argentina in terms of no conceding goals. He surpassed the 608 minutes that Germán El Mono Burgos had between 1998 and 1999. Yes, Kylian Mbappe, the last one to beat Emiliano Martinez. After the final in Qatar, Argentina played 7 games, won them all, and conceded 0. Yes, of course. I know some of those games were against Curaçao or Panama, but still, this team showed that they're still hungry for more every time they put on the Argentine jersey. Another great performance against Paraguay this time. They reduced La Albirroja to a minimum expression. Like with Bolivia, they have done it without Messi in the starting 11, although he came on in the second half and hit the post twice, one from a corner and the other one from a free kick. The Albiceleste had in Alexis McAllister the man of the match, playing again as a central midfielder. He directed absolutely everything, every move from his position. Julian Alvarez and Lautaro, Edu, we discussed it last show. They shared the pitch in the end, and they had a great match without even scoring, none of them. Now, of course, if there is a chance of Messi starting in Lima, I wouldn't mind seeing the 3 of them together. In that case, will be, I believe, Nicolás González, the player dropped to see Messi, Lautaro, and Julian all together. I guess Dibu, looking at the stats of Peru, can be confident of growing his record because not only have Peru lost against Chile, but you mentioned accumulated 3 defeats without scoring in these qualifiers. But against Paraguay in Asunción, they haven't even registered. That's the thing. It's not just they lost against Chile away, but against Paraguay in their first round of fixture, they haven't even registered a shot on goal in 90 minutes against La Roja. And it's not a small detail when you see that Venezuela traveled to Brazil and managed to put players in the Brazilian box a few times. Even when you look at the fact that Bolivia have registered 8 shots on goal in 3 rounds of fixture, but Peru, I repeat, did not register a shot on goal in 2 of their 3 games. Today, the feeling is that for Peru to get anything in a game, they have to pray to Sangallese in goal. Otherwise, things look a little bit bleak. A Peruvian fan summarized it, I think, pretty well when he said on TV after the defeat against Chile, I miss the joy with which this team used to play under Gareca. And I think that's pretty much maybe the same feeling in Peru. Argentina, yes, clear favorites, I believe, in here. On the road to Qatar, Lautaro Martinez traveled to Lima at the back of a match with Paraguay, in which he missed few opportunities. In that game against Peru, he opened the scoreline and celebrated doing this gesture of brushing away some demons. For those like me, I would say, who think that Lautaro can finally find his goal-scoring form with Argentina, Lautaro to score anytime, individual market, has odds of 2.4, and Argentina to win second half, odds of 1.74.
Argentina to win 2-0. The obvious one here is 1.95. not very high, obviously, because it's a very obvious one, this one. Well, Leo, let's finish our video with your best bet.
Best bets I bet for me, Edu, Argentina, first team to score in Argentina-Peru, that's 1.36. Argentina, first team to score.
And your ACCA?
My ACCA includes this one, the Argentina first team to score at 1.46. Ecuador, Colombia, both teams to score, odds of 1.84. Uruguay, Brazil, first half double chance for Uruguay, 1.5. That leaves me a total of 3.75.
Brilliant, Leo. We have another break in 1 month, more or less. Until then, let's enjoy these games. If you stay awake, Leo, to watch this Paraguay, Bolivia, for instance, good luck. Drink a lot of coffee, a lot of mate to stay awake. And let's enjoy these great games. Hopefully make some money. Thanks to Leo Bachanian. Bye-bye. See you
next time.